Welcome back to Inspiring Hope, the podcast of Catholic Charities of Omaha. I'm your host, Dave Van Cat, Chief Community Engagement Officer for Catholic Charities. Today's episode takes us inside one of the most basic and essential human needs, food. Most of us take food for granted. We have ready access to food in our homes, or we can get it whenever we choose. But have you ever considered what it would be like if you didn't have access to food, or you didn't know how you were going to feed your family? Many of us assume that will never happen to us, but we see people like that at our pantry every day. Those whose medical bills or prescriptions or car issues or other unforeseen situations pile up to the point that they have to choose between food and their other expenses. Catholic Charities is here to help through our pantries to support those facing food insecurity. We operate our Market Choice Pantry at the St. Teresa of Calcutta campus on 93rd and Bedford, the St. Juan Diego Center Pantry on 31st and Q Streets, our Seniors Pantry at the St. Martin de Porres Center on 21st and Emmett. In addition, we have mobile pantries which take food monthly to Macy and Walt Hill, Nebraska on the Omaha tribe lands, as well as to the Columbus, Nebraska area to serve the rural communities around there. Today, we're talking with Christine Ochoa, our lead Pantry Coordinator, about all of the ways we do this corporal work of mercy to feed the hungry. For us, every time we encounter those we serve through our food distributions, it is an opportunity to show them the respect and dignity they deserve as a beloved child of God, to offer them nutritious foods appropriate for the many cultures we and our volunteers and collaborators serve every day. Welcome, Christine, to Inspiring Hope. We're so glad that you're here with us.
Thanks. I'm excited to be here.
So people have, I think, a misperception of who is coming to pantries. Talk a little bit about who do we serve when we go through our pantry distributions every day?
Sure. So each day is a little bit different at the pantry. We are serving families from all walks of life, whether it be newcomers to our country or to our city, whether it be a veteran, maybe a single mom. Many working families come to see us, and senior citizens. We're just kind of serving everybody.
And I know, like, when I've gone down to the pantry at our Market Choice Pantry at St. Teresa's, it seems like it's the United Nations. We have so many different cultures that are coming in, so many different dialects. Talk to a little bit about how you navigate that.
We certainly do. So staff at both of our buildings here in Omaha, we do have some bilingual staff that speak Spanish and English. However, we have noticed about 18 different languages within our pantries. We have navigated that first off with smiles, facial gestures, body language. It goes a long ways. We've also recently acquired AI translators that help us with many of our languages. And surprisingly enough, many of our families have children that, to my surprise, speak up to 5 languages. So it's very interesting to see these children that can speak, Russian, Ukrainian, Tajik. I mean, it's actually very inspiring.
That's awesome. I mean, it must be a challenge to learn how to navigate some of that. But as you said, a smile goes a long way. It really does help set the stage and the tone for how we treat them with dignity when they're coming to us to receive food.
It absolutely does, Dave. I have a gentleman that I've take a minute to talk to you about. When the conflict arose between Russia and Ukraine, we had Yevon come to us. And the first time he came to us, Yevon, 61 years old, and he told us, he said, "My English is no good. I wanted to stay in my country and fight, but they tell me I'm too old." He goes, "Now I need job. I know English." So over time, we kind of sat down with Yevon, and we happened to have a children's picture book at the pantry, and we would sit with him and look at the pictures and write the word how he would pronounce it. And he would practice with us and update on Yevon 2.5 years later. We see him very sparsely now because he's working, he's gainfully employed, but sometimes he'll just stop in to tell us hello. It's a good experience.
That's an awesome story. I mean, it really does reflect how we help people where they're at and help them make those next steps, whether it's food or the other programs of Catholic Charities. And to you and the staff, they are more than just someone and a number in a line. They are really human beings that you're trying to assist.
Absolutely. It's all about empowering human dignity. And that to me is a success right there, that story. It's a good feeling.
I know we do more than just our pantries that we have in Omaha. Talk a little bit about the experience of going to places like Macy and Walt Hill on the Omaha tribe lands. How has that impacted you?
Sure. So when we first went into Thurston County, Macy and Walt Hill, 2020, 2021-ish, we drove into a place where, and I truthfully tell you this, there is not a building or a house there where all the windows are intact. Roofs are just, some of them are bare. I mean, it's very disheartening.
It's one of the lowest poverty areas in the entire state.
Yes, and it's also considered a food desert. And for people that don't know what that is, they literally have no grocery stores within, I think it's a 5-mile radius all around them. So imagine your whole town, you may or may not have a vehicle because many of these families don't. And they have a C-Mart or a convenience store where a gallon of milk is $8. It's just, you can't get fresh food. So you're buying, maybe ramens or processed foods at the Coastal Mart so that you can feed your family. It's quite an experience and very eye-opening going there.
And I know a lot of the volunteers that we've had go up. We have a number of deacons that have participated for many years and other volunteers. It is truly a eye-opening and a perspective-changing experience to interact with the people and to see the gratitude that they have for us coming up there and giving them the food.
They certainly do. And we've learned some of their stories. And now that we've been going for a few years, we've kind of watched some of these babies go into kindergarten, which is super cool, too. We were there earlier this month, and we've got our kindergartners that are now going to be doing their kindergarten graduation in the Omaha Nation. So that's kind of fun to see and talk to the families about.
Right. And I know in addition to the food, both at our pantries and in Macy, we do a lot of diaper distribution.
Ooh, so thank you to our partnership with the Nebraska Diaper Bank. I think if I'm remembering numbers correctly, we got a statement from the Nebraska Diaper Bank last year. Just Catholic Charities alone, not all the other wonderful organizations that partner with them, served over 500,000 diapers between the Omaha and the other counties that we served. So
that's incredible.
It is. It really is. And, clean babies are happy babies, and happy babies can be healthy babies. So we need that.
Absolutely. So there's so much involved with, the expenses that people have, whether it's diapers or food or medical bills or other issues and, cars going, awry. We see people where they're at, and then we serve them and help them along whatever the crisis may be. I'm sure you hear a lot of those kinds of stories as people come in for assistance.
It's funny you say about a car going awry, because if we consider a working family that may have never had to use a pantry before, ever, they come in for the first time. If you're a working family and you have a $1,000 car repair come out of the blue, that's your grocery budget for an entire month. So if we can be there for them in their moment of need at that time to just help them get through that, even if we never see them again, as long as we let them know that we're still there when they do need us, I think we're doing our job.
That's awesome. So talk a little bit about how does the pantry work? We talk about our market pantry. Just give people a little insight in some of the background of how we get the food, how does it get to the shelves, all of those kinds of things.
Sure. So we have many wonderful partners that we work with, Saving Grace, Whispering Roots, Food Rescue Services that go out and collect food for us. We also have so many wonderful donors. Church drives, some are monthly, some are biannually. Big shout out to St. Robert's, St. Wenceslaw, Mary Our Queen, St. Elizabeth Ann Seton, St. Gerald. I could go on, but you get the gist of it. Our food sometimes is picked up by our people. Sometimes volunteers go out and get the food for us and pick it up. When it gets to our pantry, volunteers and staff will break down pallets, break down food, and stock the shelf. It's a daily process. We're never not stocking and refilling our shelves.
And I think a lot of people don't realize that any, whether it's a gas station or grocery store that prepares food, they only have 48 hours to sell that, or else they have to give it away or throw it away. And it's still perfectly edible food. And so, as you mentioned, we have volunteers and partners that we work with that go around and collect that. And then we're able to get it to those who are hungry
Absolutely,
and feed them.
and keep it out of the landfills.
Exactly. So, again, we talked earlier about all the different cultures. How do we try to navigate some of that and to give them food that maybe they're more familiar with?
Sure. So that was kind of a learning curve for us. I think especially at the newest location, the Market Pantry, myself was not prepared for all of the different diversity that I would see. By asking probing questions, by really sitting down and listening to our families and watching, there might be stuff on that shelf that doesn't get touched. And I'm like, okay, we don't want to ask for that in the next drive. The fresh foods are really important to our families because they're not cooking an instant meal. They're actually using ingredients and baking with love for their families, and I think that's the most important thing we can do. So by doing surveys, by sitting down and learning people's stories. We also are currently very lucky to be working with Tri-Faith, and we are learning a lot from them about families that either kosher diets or halal diets, things like that. And it's helping us in our pantries to make sure we're getting the proper, culturally correct food on our shelves.
Yeah. So the Tri-Faith Initiative, for those who might not be aware, is a collaboration between Jewish, Muslim, and Christian faiths to work together to address the communities and build bridges between different cultures and faiths. And so I know you're involved with the new project called the Team Up Project, which is involving not only that Tri-Faith Initiative, but Catholic Charities USA, Habitat for Humanity, and the YMCA. So talk a little bit about that and your experience with that.
Correct. So I think when we went into this Team Up project, we didn't know exactly what we were getting into, and it's kind of evolved into this beautiful thing between, like you said, the Muslims, the Jewish, and the Christians, and anyone else that wants to come in. We're working on a project right now. We've met with the faith leaders from all three twice now. We've had breakfast and we've broke bread with them, and we are working on a project. It's called Farm to Table, where we are going to bring through the faith leaders with their members and bring everyone together so that we can sit down, share a meal, and just try to put our cultures together and bring in volunteers that way and have us work side by side.
And again, God always provides for us. He prepares us for these different things. As you mentioned, you never thought that you would have so many different diverse cultures that you were working
Not
with.
at all.
And you used to operate, mainly at our St. Juan Diego Center in South Omaha and do, a lot of Spanish speaking there. But you've adapted so well into how you work with all these different people. And now this Team Up project is enabling to use those gifts and skills that you've obtained to help others. And so that must make you feel good.
It does. And I think it's helping me internally also.
Yeah, that's awesome. So we talked a little bit earlier about, those different parishes. St. Robert's does a monthly food drive with us. St. Gerald's does quarterly. We're always looking for collaborations with not only the parishes, but St. Wenceslaus School does the largest food drive for us annually. They make a huge competition among the school for it and provide over 30,000 pounds of food through that. St. Margaret Mary's is another example. Talk about, how does that food differ from what we're able to obtain through other places?
Sure. So many people that go into a pantry are used to getting the regular staples, right? You've got
peanut
your
butter and jelly,
cheese, peanut butter and jelly. When we, especially recently, I think our last drive with one of the parishes, they asked us, what are your people asking for? And so we can give them those lists. And when people come in and they see that it's not just the standard, what I usually get at any other local area pantry, and the colors and the different cultural foods, it's exciting experience. It feels good. It makes people feel at home. I think it takes a little bit of that stigma and edge off of I'm in a pantry. Mm-hmm. So it's very exciting. And watching the kids, especially at St. Wenceslaus last year, they were competing, kind of just classroom against classroom to see who could get more. And these kids came through. They got into it and they well succeeded. I think their goal was 11,000 items, and it ended up being over 32,000 items that they collected for us. So.
Yeah, it really does provide a lot of different variety that we're able to share then with the people coming to us.
Absolutely.
And again, in a choice pantry type of situation, people get to select, do they want this cereal or that cereal? And we do really rely on those kinds of food drives to provide some of that variety so it's not all the same.
Yeah.
I know we also get help and support through other collaborators like St. Vincent de Paul Parish and St. Stephen the Martyr Parish, who they have small pantries that they operate, but then they share food that they receive with us as well,
yes,
and do other purchases of foods that we need. So there's so many different ways that people help support Catholic Charities and the food that's needed. So we know just rely on them for the food, but we have 6 people on our staff, and the rest of that food that gets distributed is because of all of the volunteers that we have. I know you've developed lots of great relationships with the volunteers. Talk a little bit about those.
Sure. We couldn't do it without our volunteers, Dave. It wouldn't be possible. 100% wouldn't be possible. A lot of our volunteers have come to us as persons that have utilized our services initially, and then eventually they want to give back. I have a volunteer at our St. Teresa's Market Choice Pantry, and Ed came to us one day just out of nowhere, and he said, "Hey, Catholic Charities saved my life 30 years ago when I was in a dark place." He's retired, and he now comes with his baseball cap and his Catholic Charities shirt every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. He's there in the pantry. He's working with us. He's working with the people. So I think that it's calling on his heart. This is what Catholic Charities did for me, and now I want to give back. We have many student volunteers, which one family sticks out to me in particular. They have 3 teens, and one just gave me her graduation announcement yesterday. She's graduating, so she's going to be going off to college. But these kids come in. I think initially they needed like 100 service hours for something that was going on through the schools that they were in. They have now been with us since 2021, and I think last summer I did a count on their hours for a scholarship one of them was applying for, and she had 143 hours over the summer, just the summer.
Awesome.
So, I mean, that's how it works.
So I know there's retirees and others that help out. And I know St. Joseph's in Springfield is one of your favorite examples, and the people that help out from there.
They truly are. We had a lady from St. Joseph's that would initially come to the Market Pantry, and we took her out to Thurston County to the Omaha reservation one time. She now every month, I'm not kidding you, every month, and it's been going on 2 years since she's been with us now, brings a whole group from St. Joseph's. That's a 9-hour day standing outside on the reservation. So it's just
in
incredibly.
the heat and in the cold.
Absolutely.
And I mean, we're there every month, and I know that the people have had to face a lot of weather situations that shows their dedication for this type of work.
Certainly. And every year when school starts, they actually bring up school supplies for the children too. So.
We have tons of great volunteers. Now, people also, I think, don't have a concept of like, well, how many people are you actually helping through the pantries and the mobiles? We mentioned going to Macy and Walt Hill. We also go up to Columbus area and distribute food into the rural communities up there. Talk about like how many pounds of food, how many people do we help?
Yep, no problem. Actually, it's a good thing that we just got through the first of the month. I just did some reporting on this. So in the month of April, collectively between our Omaha pantries and our rural outreaches, we served 204,000 pounds of food.
Wow.
That was distributed among about 3,400-ish families. And if I really break it down for you, that's about 12,900 individuals. Interestingly enough, 72% of those families have children under the age of 18. So, I mean, we're serving everyone.
Yeah, That's amazing. I mean, just in 1 month to serve that many. And I know last year we served over 2.6 million pounds of food through all of our different programs. You mentioned the kids that we're serving, but we're also helping out the seniors through our St. Martin de Porres. Talk a little bit about the seniors program and how we get food for them.
Yeah. So the SASE seniors at our St. Martin de Porres location, as you know, we feed breakfast and lunch Monday, Wednesday, and Friday to them, have activities, bingo, field trips. We also have a senior pantry for them every Wednesday. They get the same dignity as everyone else. They come through, they shop for themselves. We also give them treats and bakery on Friday to take home just so they have something sweet on the weekend. And those are in collaboration with our great partners, like the Saving Grace and the Whispering Roots and the other church donations that we receive are also given to them. And we kind of share between our pantries. If I have something over here that I think that, the seniors would love, hey, let's send them coffee, and so it's a really great deal.
Yeah. I know when we talked about the different parishes, another one that comes to mind is the St. Stephen the Martyr Knights of Columbus. So they are a very dedicated group. It's not always the same people, and some people, hesitate to volunteer if they think I have to be there all the time. Mm-hmm. But this group, they have dedicated set of men that come Wednesdays, right?
They come on Wednesdays to our St. Juan Diego location.
Yeah, and they help break down the food donations and get it on the shelves. And so, talk a little bit about how important that is for what we're doing.
It's imperative. There's no way around it. I mean, there's sometimes I've watched these guys break down 16,000 pounds of food on pallets, and they don't stop until it's done, and they do it seamlessly. I remember one time I was watching them pass boxes off like this, and I asked one of them, I go, you guys got a good system going. And he told me that back in the day, he was in I think it was the Army. I'm not sure what branch of the military it was. He said, if we wanted water for the week, this is the way we did it because we only got to go one time. And it's truly a line that they have going in a rhythm. And it's just something that's beautiful to watch.
Yeah. And they've helped us out in so many ways. I know they've put shelving together, broken down shelving when we needed to move things as we're preparing to change our St. Juan Diego Center pantry from a kind of a walk-through model where everyone gets the same box of protein, box of produce, and shelf-stable items to be a Market Choice Pantry. Mm-hmm. And so they have helped through that process of moving things around. It has to be an exciting time to be involved with our food programs and knowing that the St. Juan Diego Center is going to be renovated into a choice beautiful. Pantry too.
I'm so excited. I can't wait, especially for the people in that community, because some of them actually will come out and visit our other pantry because mm-hmm. it feels so good to be able to shop for your own family. But I also know that's a long drive for them, and for them to have that in their own neighborhood is just going to be a wonderful thing.
So is there anything else that you would want people to know who are listening in and ways they can help or ways that they can get involved with our programs?
I would invite anyone that's listening to us today to just reach out to Craig or reach out to myself or anyone else at Catholic Charities. Come see us. Come see what we're about. You don't even have to volunteer your first day. You can come observe, but I almost think that you'll stay with us once you do. It's a good feeling. And if you can't volunteer your time, that's okay. Even a monthly donation goes a long, long way. Do a drive at your school. Get your kids excited about it. Have them get their classmates involved. Make it a competition.
Yeah, that's great. I know you've mentioned Ed earlier, and you told me that Ed started inviting his own friends to come and volunteer, and now some of them have continued to be dedicated volunteers.
We do. Ed has a female friend. She actually lives in Fremont, and she comes 3 days a week. And then his brother-in-law, he brought him one day just to kind of observe, like we were just talking about. And now he comes, and I call him my security guy because he'll kind of work the line. Because when we first opened, there's always a line. But he's going through and talking to people and just making sure that stays steady. And then he goes out to the pantry after that gets under control, and he's out there too. So.
Well, there are so many beautiful stories about the people that we serve and through the pantries. And I know we don't have time for all of them, but I do want to thank you for joining us on Inspiring Hope today and sharing some of those stories, because that really is how people get to understand more of who we serve and how we can help people through whatever their crisis or challenges for that particular time. So thank you so much, Christine, for being with us on Inspiring Hope.
Thank you. It was good to be here.
Thank you for joining us today. Hunger is real, but often hidden in our communities. It changes our perspective to see the food programs in action, to look in the eyes of the adults and children we serve, and see the hope and relief of knowing they have food to sustain them. Hunger wears many faces. It might look like a tired father or mother skipping meals so their kids can eat. A newly arrived refugee family unfamiliar with food and unsure how to ask for help. A senior quietly reflecting on how they can get through the next month as food prices increase. But in every story, hope finds a way in. At Catholic Charities, offering food for the hungry is part of what God calls us to do. It's offering a bridge of trust and respect to anyone in front of us. It's the belief that no matter who you are, where you're from, or what burdens you're carrying, you are welcome here. Maybe you felt the pull to serve. Maybe you didn't know how. But here's your invitation. Join us to volunteer, or donate, or advocate for people in need, or simply share this episode with someone else and open the conversation about food insecurity and how you can use your gifts to help us. Because in the end, the greatest gift we can share is ourselves. If this conversation resonated with you, please subscribe, share, and stay connected. If you want to learn more about our food pantry services at Catholic Charities, visit our website at ccomaha.org. Thank you for listening to Inspiring Hope. God bless.